guys, we are headed to Joshua Tree. I am in my Hyundai Kona, making my way to Joshua Tree. I am 2 hours behind. I had to hold off and get the rental car a little bit later because they were jam-packed, and they said, can you come later to pick up your car? And I said fine. So I ran to Sprouts because I think I want hamburgers for lunch. I went and I grabbed that, and then I had a lot to pack too. I'll show you guys once I get there all the stuff I brought with me, and yeah, you can watch me camp by myself for the first time. It should be a pretty fun deal. Okay, over here, and we're setting up camp right now. So I brought a lot of stuff. I got my covers on the windows so I can get some airflow. This is my camping tote. I'm about to put up my tent and all of my firewood down here and blankets. And I'm gonna make some lunch. I got burgers on the way out. Here's my little fire pit that I'll have all set up here, nice and cozy tonight. I think I'm gonna pitch my tent right over here. And I can already hear the buzzy bugs. So I got my candle out with my citronella. And yeah, I'm starving, I'm ready to eat. So I'm gonna get my tent and my shade up. I got some hamburgers going. On the other side, we're gonna make some cheeseburgers, want some lettuce. Got my tent up. The ground is too hard, so I can't get it nailed down to the ground, so we're gonna do the best we can. And I couldn't get my shelter up for shade, so now I'm just hanging out under the rocks. So I'm starving, I didn't eat breakfast, so 4 o'clock now, but I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna hang up more of my solar lights for tonight. And I'm sweating. It's hot out here. Okay, just made my cheeseburger. Here is on some famous Dave's bread butter. So I'm gonna eat it. I'm sure it's really I'm here, just relaxing and looking pretty grungy right now, but that's okay. I'm just gonna rock the hat and just completely sweat it through my hair. So it's been really nice and peaceful. All I'm doing today, I think, is I'm just gonna hang around the campsite and then get up in the morning and go for some hikes, and then I have to be out of here at noon, so I'll probably do a lot more like hiking and stuff tomorrow, possibly, because I don't have to have the car back till Tuesday. So yeah, I'm just enjoying the beautiful scenery, and it's been pretty windy, which has been really nice, so I'm just enjoying the breeze and the shade. And I wasn't able to stake my tent down, so that's been blowing all over the place, but I ended up tying it to a rock. So hopefully that will do. And my car just feels a little bit too warm right now. It's better out here, so I'm just hanging out. And I really wanted to read one of my old books, and I forgot it at home. So I think I really want to just take like a short nap and hydrate, and then see how I feel. I probably won't eat dinner until like 7. I ate like half of my burger and I was done. So yeah, I'm just taking some time to just relax and think and try not to worry about things and just recharge in nature. This is what I miss doing the most, and I really need to do this more often. I'm like, I really need to figure out my car situation because I need to get back on my national parks trips again, because those were super empowering and uplifting, and I need a lot more uplifting vibes in my world. So it's just like the perfect time to be out of town. It's just complete chaos, and it's just like the perfect weekend. The drive was like super easy, and yeah, I really like this car's like so funny being so high up, but yeah, it's so similar to my car. It's just like higher up, and it has like a hatchback. So the only downside is it doesn't have like the hatchback, but with like, you can either open up the full tailgate or just open up like Toyotas have, where you can open up like the top latch with the window and get a breeze in. I wish this car had that because it would have been perfect. I also, before I left town today, I took an Uber to the rental car place, And I think I ran into like my ex-boyfriend. I'm pretty darn sure. I'm like, if there's somebody that looks like him, like same vibe, same like outfit, like, yeah. I was like near my house, and I'm like, please don't tell me you live like down the street from me now. Like, this is not okay. Not okay at all. So anyways, letting that go. And yeah, the only wildlife I've seen so far is a lizard and some birds. And I do not want to meet any of our insect friends or our snakes, because I don't like snakes. And yeah, my camp setup has not gone the way that I had hoped. The whole deal is just the ground is so hard, you can't even get anything into it. And of course, I didn't bring like a hammer or mallet, and you couldn't even get it in the ground despite that. So luckily the rocks provide just enough shade to get you through like the heat of the day. And then like right now it's like perfect and the wind's perfect. So yeah. The bathrooms are a short walk away, which is perfect for me. My stomach's been a little funky, so it's like hit and miss with if I eat something that my stomach will just be like, no bro, no. So that's a plus. But ground is about 10 miles from the front entrance of Joshua Tree, so it's just right out of the chaos, which is great. And then I'll probably go in tomorrow. There's a couple of places I want to hit, but I'm going to enjoy the amenities around here because it's really quite stunning. For the tent, hanging out, it is just a little bit, I think it's sunset right now, and I am not super hungry. I'm more thirsty than anything. I did not drink a thing on the way down because I'm like, I don't want to have to go pee on the drive. I just want to get there. Smelling the first campfire, so the next thing I need to do is I need to get a campfire started and potentially have some dinner. I'm like debating because I thought I only bought like 2 patties, but it ended up being a pack of 4. So now I have like 3 additional patties, and I'm like, okay, do I eat those for dinner or do I get the steak? Because I bought steak, and steak is so good when you're camping. So that's my next thing I need to figure out. I was going to have steak and a potato, but I'm feeling like the potato might be a little much. So I have salad I can eat and little cherry tomatoes. And oh, I may have brought some like gluten-free cream puffs with me. If I remembered, I may have grabbed them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the night sky. So I'm hoping that I'm able to see a whole lot of stars tonight. I'm really tired, screwed at myself, just putting at the camp. And so I didn't feel like hiking. So I have just been laying around for the past like hour, 2 hours, just enjoying the cool air. And I'm looking forward to tonight. I might be sleeping in a tent tonight. It's a little bit more spacious and stretchy. I have room in the car, but I'm on a weird angle, and I don't know if I really want to sleep like that. I feel like it's more comfortable to be on my sleeping bag and my little floor mat, and I have like my car blanket I've had with me for years. So I'm gonna do that, and then hopefully my hotspot works, and if I get super bored, I'll watch some I Love Lucy or something. But I'm hoping just to like really super duper unplug. I need to journal while I'm out here, maybe do a little meditation, and then tomorrow morning I have a feeling I'm gonna get up before sunrise. So I'm probably gonna get up and go take a quick hike on one of the trails nearby, and then I gotta pack up before noon, and then I think I'm gonna hopefully hit a few of the trails in Joshua Tree before I head home. I am looking forward to tonight. I did not bring s'mores because I just was not feeling it. So I'm gonna do the mini cream puffs, and my stomach's been doing okay with those. So that will be my sweet treat for tonight instead of doing s'mores. And I think the steak will be phenomenal. Will I finish it? Probably not, but I think it's gonna taste pretty good. And I love my camping stove. It is amazing. Thing was done on the cheap, even though this trip is costing me a lot more money than I had anticipated. But I love it. It cooks so well. I have my own cast iron skillet, and it killed it. And it was so windy too, and it kept the flame, and it's amazing. So I'm definitely glad that I bought that. Anywho, I'm going to prepare for the night, eventually head to the bathroom because I'm just so dehydrated. I just have not felt the need to go. And then I'm gonna hunker down for the night and enjoy the cool cool breeze. I don't know if it's gonna stay windy all night, but it's been really nice and pleasant. So look, my solar lights are working. I'm so excited. I wasn't sure if they were gonna work tonight. And I also have lights on my tent, which I need to turn on in a few seconds, but I'm stoked. And I also need one more string because I don't think this is enough. Hey guys, good morning. So I forgot to record me camping up, finishing cleaning up my camping because it was just so hot this morning, and I pretty much slept in until like the sun came up at like 6:45, and I was pretty good until like 8 o'clock, and then it started getting really hot. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pack up. Everybody around me was packing up early, so I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. But yeah, last night was good. I got some good sleep. I wish I could have got a little bit more, but yeah, sleeping on the ground actually wasn't so bad, and my tent was perfect. I think I would have been sweating bullets had I slept in my car last night. So I think that was a good decision, and it was windy, which was nice, and I just got to lay in my tent enjoying the beautiful stars, and we had like a half moon last night, so it was beautiful. So right now it is like 80 degrees. It's almost 10 o'clock. They do not recommend hiking after 10 o'clock because it gets too warm. I'm going to see what I can do, if I can just do like a small trail. If not, then I'm just gonna do what I normally do, which is just drive through Joshua Tree, find a shady spot, and maybe eat some of my leftovers. But it's just so beautiful, you guys. Like the rock formations here, I really want to learn more about this area because it's just insanely beautiful. It's just nuts. So we're gonna be heading on out, but it's just so gorgeous. I mean, look at the desert. It's so pretty. It was so pretty. I did have like a pretty big group of people next to me. They were all climbers, and I literally just listened to their conversation the whole day. It was pretty funny. So, and they were playing like some old school like music that I enjoy. So it's all good. So anyways, yeah, it's really beautiful. And so I'm just gonna head on over to Joshua Tree, I guess. I also need to use the bathroom. I did use the bathroom last night, and the bathrooms that I had near me were just grungy and gross. So I went. I wasn't super happy, but I went. And then this morning I tried to go, but it was just so gross. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait until I either get into the park or I stop off to go grab like a drink or something, because it just was so gross. I just couldn't do it. So that's what I'm doing today. What's up? It's Samara Renee. So I'm coming back for a quick update on my trip to Joshua Tree and my first time solo camping and having an adventure by myself. My biggest regret, I must say, was that I didn't take an extra day. I only stayed overnight. I wish I would have done 2 days, because I just felt like, I didn't feel like super rushed, but I just felt like I really needed just to be out on my own for an extra day, if that makes sense. So I would say the reason why this trip has been so like significant and healing and all that great stuff is the mere fact that last year I didn't do any hiking, I didn't do any trips, and I was in this relationship for half of last year, and we didn't do anything fun, like nothing fun. I didn't get to go on any adventures. Like we only went hiking like a couple places, and then when I wanted to go on a trip for my birthday, the other person didn't want to go or couldn't make the commitment to go on that trip or didn't want to spend the money, whatever. So I should have went by myself, which was my mistake for not just saying, screw it, well, I'll go by myself, which I totally made that comment. I should have just gone despite whoever I was dating, but that was my fault, just trying to keep the peace, and that was a mistake, so I'll never do that again. So this whole moment is just kind of like bringing myself back to the way that I was before I got into that situation, and it's taken me like 4 months of just kind of like letting that moment go and letting myself heal from that and making that decision. I think since I made the decision, I just said, screw it, I'm just not going to date anymore and I'm over it, and I'm just going to move forward with my life as a single person from now on. Like, I have had so much peace about that. I have just enjoyed laying around on the weekend and not like driving to go be with someone who wasn't really like super excited to see me half the time. So I'm always happy to be with myself. So going on this trip was super exciting for me. And I would say like the main thing was I spent more than I would have ever wanted to spend on this trip with getting supplies, because I didn't have anything. I didn't have a tent, which I got for like $30. I got most of my stuff at Walmart, and my camping stove. So all of that stuff I had to buy, it started to add up after a while. So now I know moving forward, the only thing I'm gonna have to pay for is a camping site and potentially a rental car if I don't figure out the situation with my car. So my main lesson from this is I had no reason to be scared. I was a little spooked at night because, well, first off, let's talk about the campground. The campground was, I stayed at Indian Cove Campground, and it was a great camping site. However, I had an impression that my campsite, I picked it because I thought I was going to be like further away from people, but I was literally smack dab in the middle of like two like big groups. I had one group next to me that was a group of climbers, so I had to be next to these people, and they were pretty loud, but they were like positive vibes. They had good music on, and they just talked about stuff, and I was just over by myself. They were playing like table tennis, and like I was just like, okay, you know, that's a vibe, whatever. And they're all friends and they seem super cool. And then we had another family that I really didn't even get to like see, they were on the opposite side of me, so that was fine. But my main purpose of being there was to like get away from people as much as I could. So the first thing was that I ended up going to the campsite, and then I couldn't find a campsite for some reason. It was just not clicking to follow the little like signs in the campground, and so I like went around like twice, and then I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I can, you know, get in here, find my spot. So that took me a moment. I did rent a car, and I ended up driving a Hyundai Kona, which I never would have thought would have been a fun car to drive, but actually it was. I loved it because it was all-wheel drive, but knowing my little Kia, it would have been a really hard time for my car to drive on that dirt road. So once I got there, I was super impressed with that, and I backed in, and it was just a nice, comfortable drive all the way up. And when I got there, I had this plan to like, okay, I'm gonna set up my tent, I'm gonna set up shade, and I just, you know, my priority is getting the shade because it was like almost 90 degrees. So I was like, okay, priority to do that. My whole plan was to do like a tent, like a canopy shelter, and I ended up getting some tent poles. And those tent poles, which I should have listened to everyone on TikTok that said that you need to bring a hammer or a mallet or something because the ground is really hard, and I was just like, oh, it shouldn't be that bad. It was bad. So I couldn't even get anything into the ground. So then I was like, okay, well, let me try to use the rope that I had, and then I'll tie it in between like the barbecue pit and maybe like the sign for the tent site number, and I screwed that up. So I ended up just throwing that away, and I said, okay, plan B, I'm just gonna have to just put my chair over here in like the brush and the rocks and use the shade that I had. So that worked out. I had a camping fan. That was like the best thing that I did, was to bring that camping fan, because I was sweating bullets. I was putting my tent up and it was in the sun and it was just really hot. And I did not eat before I left. So that was another thing, was I didn't eat any food except for prosciutto once I got there, because I was like, I need to sit, I need to eat. So I ended up doing that and took a little break, and I had like my little chair. And another good thing that I did was that I pre-cooled my cooler, and I had like cold sparkling water, and then I had like 2 big bottles that I put in the refrigerator like 2 days before. So then I had like ice cold water to drink. So that was like a win. And then I set up my tent, and then the wind came, and it was just like blowing like big huge gust, and then it would calm down. And so I didn't have anything to like nail my tent down to the ground. So of course my tent was blowing back and forth. And then finally I just decided I'm going to take the rope and I'm going to tie my tent down with the rope, and it's just going to hold everything. And everything worked out after that once I got it tied down. So after all of that drama, I got everything set, and then I pulled up my camp stove. That was my first time using a camp stove ever, and I wasn't feeling a whole bit of confidence about it. And I ended up sitting down figuring that out, and that freaking stove was like a dream. It was like the best thing. It was better than I thought. And then I had my cast iron skillet, and I said I wanted hamburgers for lunch, and I was like, that was actually a really good decision that I did, because I, made myself like some cheeseburgers, and I had all that stuff. And then I sat on my little chair and I had a moment. I was just like, you know what, this is what it's all about. And I saw the moon rising early, and it was just like the perfect day. It was like clear. The breeze was still coming in. It was just perfect. And then I had like my camping neighbors next to me, and they had some jams on, and I was just like, yeah, loving it. So most of the time when I was there, I just kind of like relaxed in a chair. I brought books and like journals to read. I didn't read. I just literally sat there just watching the sky and looking at the rock formations. That's all I did. I didn't do like a major hike. I was too tired when I got there. And so I just ended up just laying around. I thought I was going to sleep in my car, because I really thought I was going to be super scared, because it was like my first time being out camping alone. But I actually was totally fine. And I think it's just because I had good vibes from the people who were next to me. So I ended up getting fire started. I've done like fire pits before, but with the wind, that was a whole deal. And just getting everything just set up. My solar lights, I wasn't sure if they were going to work. That's why I was so excited that they actually worked, because I was like, oh, I didn't sit out in the sun enough. And luckily, once it got dark, they lit up and they were perfect. And I just need to buy one more string of lights. And it was just such a cool vibe, just being by myself. And I just kept saying like out loud to myself, like, I'm so glad that I did this. Like, I'm so glad that I took the time to do something that I wanted to do for a long time. And I feel really good about that. And I just felt super happy. Like, I just forgot everything that's been bothering me. And it was just nice to be out of town and to just be around people who were just in good spirits, and just everyone was just kind of doing their own thing and walking by. So sleeping in my tent was way more comfortable than I thought. It was perfect. And it was just a tent big enough for one. And I ended up pulling up the rain guard, or whatever the thing on top is called. And I ended up just rolling it up at night, because I just wanted to lay down once it got dark and just look through the tent to see like the stars and stuff. So I spent like most of the night just kind of hanging out by the fire, kind of by the fire pit. I was saying with like fire pits, like I love them, but I don't like the smell so much. So I just kind of sat back and just ate and drank. I ended up making steak for dinner, and it was just such a vibe. It was such a vibe. And yeah, my only regret is I should have taken today off and just stayed an extra day, because it was crazy getting out of there. So another thing that I did do, I just did like a quick journaling. I just did my gratitude journal at night, and I just was writing how grateful I was to be able to go camping. And I was really happy to like drive a car, didn't have to worry about having an issue, and just being able to sit back and enjoy like my snacks that I got. My stomach was like finally good. I didn't have to worry about like tummy issues, and it was like really just like really lovely. And at night the weather was perfect, not too many bugs. I only had 2 bugs in my tent that snuck in, and I think it was like a baby spider and like a little moth thing, and I didn't freak out about it. But I slept in my tent, and I just laid back, looked at the moon, looked at the stars in the sky. I was watching a bunch of like satellites loop around a couple times, and plains, and it was just really like beautiful. Like just the whole night was beautiful. And I was gonna like watch like I Love Lucy on my laptop. I didn't even need to do that. I wasn't even bored because I just had so much stuff to look at and think about, and I didn't really take like a super amount of time to like intentionally think about like, what do you want me to do? But I did pray that night when I was in my tent and I was looking up to stars, and I said, God, what do you want me to do like with my life? Like, what am I supposed to do? And you know, the one thing that I know is clear is that I need to pay my debt off, and then number two is I need to get back into like the essence of who I really love to be, which is like that adventurous girl going on trips and stuff, and going on these adventures and doing things that are super uncomfortable, but being brave enough to do them anyway. So that was like my whole trip, was just getting back to like my old self and just not caring or worrying about a thing. And I'm already thinking about my next trip and where I want to go and what campground I want to go to. And I think the only thing I would like that I still need to add to my camping would be, number one is a car, a better car. That's number one. Number two would be a Jackery solar generator. I need, that would be good. And then also one of the GPS communicators. Those are more expensive. I ended up going on a hike, and I mostly drove around after leaving the Indian Cove campground. I was the only downside about staying there. My only beef is that their toilets were gross and the door did not lock. That was an issue. And I didn't get up to use the bathroom until like 11 o'clock, and it was like already dark, and I just had enough juice in my headlamp to make my way down. The good part was that the bathroom was closed, so that was important because my stomach has just been hit and miss with whatever's going on with it. So I just was like, you know what? I'm packed up early, slept most of the night, stayed cool till about like 8 o'clock in the morning. And then my camping neighbors next to us, they got up and they started packing early. And I was like, it's hot. I want to just go home and, you know, just pack up early. I don't have, you know, any reason or any shade right now, and I just don't even want to battle the heat. So I ended up getting up and on the road around 9 o'clock and just did like a quick wipe down. Toilets were gross, and so I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the ranger station, see if the bathrooms are over there. They're supposed to be better, and I'm glad I did that. The bathrooms were perfectly clean. And then I headed into Joshua Tree from the Oasis Samara side. So that's more of like the, I don't know if that's north side or whatnot, but I ended up coming in that way, which was easy. I did not have to pay, I guess because it was Memorial Day. So everybody got to come into the park for free. So that was another bonus. And I just drove around, and I've been to Joshua Tree before, but it's just like so amazing just how like beautiful and diverse the area is, and just all the beautiful rock formations and all of the Joshua trees, and it's just like such a beautiful vibe. And it was just cool. I was just driving around, and I stopped at the Skull Rock place, but there was just way too many people, so I stopped and like I ate some food. And then once I was done eating, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna like stop here and like climb up the rocks because there's too many people. I wanted to go somewhere where it was more chill. So I ended up going to Cap Rock. I did the little trail there, and then there was another place that I forgot what it was called, but I went there and there was only like one other person that was parked there. And so I went there, stopped off, read the sign, and I said, I'm gonna keep going. I drove up to Keys View. I've been there before, so I ended up just driving out because I was like, I've been here before and I don't need to be with all these people. And then yeah, and then I went to Cap Rock, did the hike, and that was like not even like a mile, and it was already super hot, and I completely forget that it's the high desert, so the desert is at elevation. So I was just feeling tired, and with the heat, and it was just like a little burn down. So I said, I'm just gonna do this one hike, and then I'm just gonna like drive the rest of the way. And that was a good decision for me, just because I'd just been so tired and I was dehydrated because I didn't drink the day before. So I just was like, screw it. So I just hit up a couple of other places to go look and do some video footage, and then I ended up going home early. So I had this whole plan that I was gonna go visit my family after, but it didn't work out. I was just too tired, and I was like, you know what, let's just get home and you know, you can like relax the rest of the day, and then you have to get ready for tomorrow. And I knew like putting all of the camp stuff away and getting the car cleaned out and everything switched back to my car was just gonna be like a lot, and it was. So it was like to me, it was like the perfect trip. Only downside was just the traffic. Leaving was a mess. I was in traffic just getting out of Joshua Tree and off, you know, off of the freeway, and on my way onto the freeway took about an hour. It was insane. But other than that, I mean, it was really great. The only thing I would probably bring next time was I would probably bring like a camping shower. That would be really nice because I just like to be clean. It was really hard for me not to be clean. I had like body wipes and I wiped my face with makeup wipes, and you know, but I still felt grimy. But overall, it was a great trip, and I can't wait to go to the next thing. I think my next one, I'm probably gonna go up to the mountains and camp out there, but it really just kind of depends. I hope to go next month, but we'll just have to wait and see how everything goes. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Please give me ideas for some other places that I can camp out. I have Crystal Cove is next that I want to go do as well, but they have a really long wait list. But let me know. I love doing my adventure videos, so we got to get these numbers up on followers so that I can start making some money off this channel finally, and I can start bringing more fun adventures to you. All right, so I will see you all in the next video.